Hi everybody, it's Material Girl 338, otherwise known as Diane. I'm making a video on how I make my Italian marinara sauce, pomodoro, which means it's a clumpy tomato. I am sauteing onions and garlic in olive oil, okay? And now what I'm doing is I just added a little bit of salt and pepper. I put about 6 to 7 garlic cloves and one large onion. I'm using right now, I only use a couple of different brands of tomatoes, and I'll show it to you. Centino, every once in a while I buy that. Red Peck, very good. The best. Scalfani. It has to be this can, the blue, okay? Scalfani and Tutto Rosso, the blue, not the green. The green is juice. You're gonna hate it. This is the peeled whole plum tomato, and what I do is I just put it in a bowl and I use my hands to just crush it because I like clumpy tomatoes in my sauce. And if you have fresh basil, that's all I add. I had a bag of fresh basil that I froze from the summertime, but you know, with the storm I had to throw everything out of my refrigerator. Now I'm sauteing them, and I also add salt and pepper, okay? My sauce comes out the best, and I don't add a lot of ingredients. It's because of the quality of the tomatoes. I mean, if you want to buy San Marzano tomatoes, but they have to be the ones that have the DO, I think it's the DOA or the DOT on it. It has to have that stamp, the certification stamp from Italy. But those cans are $2.50, $2.75, almost $3.50 now. I've seen it. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to get my onions. See, they're getting golden. I want that golden color. I'm sorry for moving my camera around. I'm trying to get it stationed so that you could see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so, and I love this pot. Use a good pot when you're making sauce. Don't do it in an aluminum pot because an aluminum stinks. This is a cast iron pot, and it's enamel coated. Okay, so now you see the onions? Can you see them? The golden color? Okay, when it's like this, and it has little gold tips to it, then you add your sauce. Okay? I'm going to make meatballs too, so I'll show you guys what I do with my meatballs, how I make my grandmother, Gugitina, how she made her meatballs. I haven't made them because they're a lot of work. You got to fry them, but now everybody says that they put them in the oven. I don't know. I wouldn't put them in the oven. They taste better when they're fried. And I will show you. Now you see I have some sauce in the cans. I'm going to fill water. I'm not going to fill up the whole pan, but I'm just going to scrape the sauce out of the can. And I put it in one can, into the other can, to make all this sauce on the sides come off. Okay? Now, the Centino is a thick tomato. You see it's thick? So I have to add a little bit of water to it. Not too watery. You don't want soup. You want sauce. Alright? That's good. A little bit more. The meatballs, if I add meatballs to this, they're going to absorb all the juices. So I'm going to make it a little bit more watery than usual. All right. margarine. All right. Hold on, guys. I'll show you what I did. Let me wash my hands. Okay, so now I have the sauce in the pot, and I add just more pepper. And if you have the fresh basil, it gives it a unbelievable flavor. And take a lot of it in the summertime, wash it, dry it, and then put it in Ziploc bags, and then just freeze them. Mine lasted 2 years. I had a bag that was 3 years old, but I Ziplocked it, and I also vacuum packed it. Don't put no oregano, no other ingredients except basil, salt, and I put baking soda. And I'll show you my secret ingredient. I put salt, pepper, and if I had basil, and I also add sugar. Not a lot, just a little bit. I'm adding salt right now, just a little bit more. Okay. And the sugar, let me get. See, I do everything with my hands, so this is how much sugar I add. Okay, that's it. Sometimes I add it, sometimes I don't. It depends. But you gotta have good quality tomatoes. Hunt's actually is rated a very good tomato. America's Test Kitchen tests all these recipes, and they rate Hunt's very good. It's got a good flavor to it. Red peck. I love America's Test Kitchen because the recipes have been tested, and they tell you the best recipes and the best things to buy. They also test your appliances, and they tell you what's good, what's not. And now I'm going to mix my chopped meat, and I'm going to show you what I do to make my meatballs. Okay, so now this is boiling, and I don't want it to boil, so you're going to put it on simmer. It's going to cook a good hour on simmer. Okay, and keep on stirring it because it will burn. I'm covering that, and I'll show you what I do. I'm going to move the camera. Okay. And here's my chopped meat. And what I have here is top of the round beef. I have 1 pound of top of the round, and I have 1 pound of pork. And that's the recipe for the meatballs. Pound of pork, a pound of beef to maybe 1.5 pounds of sirloin, top of the round, and maybe just a half of pork. But that's what that is right now. All right, I'll show you what I do. And I really do miss my basil, and it's too late in the season to grow it because it's January. Almost. Okay, so in my chopped meat, I'm going to add, right now I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of breadcrumb. But you'll see as you mix it what happens to it. Okay, this is grated imported Pecorino Romano or Luccadelli cheese. See how much? You can add a lot of cheese if you like cheese. I love cheese. Eggs. You need let me just get a dish here. And one, I think it's 3 eggs. Depends on, you'll see. If it gets too, when you're mixing it, if it's too loose, then you just add a little bit more breadcrumb. If it's too thick, you add another egg. Okay, I put 3 eggs in this one. All right, and salt. A little bit of salt, sprinkle the salt in there. The cheese is salty, so you don't have to put too much salt. Pepper, let me get the pepper out. To your own tasting. All right, and since I don't have the basil, but I'll use the dried basil. Oh, actually I do have parsley. I'm going to cut my parsley, and I have a trick for parsley. I'm going to move this over, and I'll show you, okay? My baking soda is for later. When the sauce comes to a boil, I just dip my spoon into it and take it out. Use a wooden spoon or a plastic spoon in the baking soda, dip it in halfway, and then you put it into the sauce, and you see it bubbles up, and what it does is it takes all the acid out of the tomatoes. So this is my parsley, okay, and there's a trick to it that the Barefoot Contessa showed on one of her shows is, you know, you wash it. Of course, I clean all my fruits with the vegetable spray. And then she says take a wet paper towel and just put it in the bottom of the bag and Ziploc it, and it stays fresh. Okay, so you need about, I don't know, that's good. I don't measure. I measure with my hands, so that, you know, that's a problem because I don't know the exact measurement. Okay, and just chop this. Am I on camera? Yeah. The more fresh ingredients you put in, the better it tastes. And I'm really missing my basil, so I think maybe I have some seeds from the summertime. I'll grow it in the house. I'll put a grow light. This way I have it at least. I'm going to add this to the chopped meat. So I put eggs, cheese, only a third of breadcrumb right now, parsley, salt, pepper. Okay? Let me just clean this. All right, and I will show you how I make my meatball. I don't like mixing chopped meat with my raw hands, with my bare hands, I meant. So I use plastic gloves. Then it gets under my nails, and I like to sew, and I like my fabric to smell fresh, not of meatballs. Okay. Make sure I'm on camera. I have to stir the sauce. I don't want it to burn. And just mix it around. And I forgot the most important ingredient, which is garlic. Here's my garlic. I love garlic, so to me, this is not enough. And you know, garlic is getting very expensive, so what I do is I've been buying the garlic in the jars. I'm saving those. They will last a while. You can't preserve garlic. I tried it. You can freeze it, but you got to put it in I think vinegar. I called one of the universities, and they said, don't put it in oil and let it stand on the counter because you'll get botulism. So, and I always try to have garlic ready all the time. That's just an easy way to open them. Come right off. I always have garlic peeled and onions in the refrigerator because every dish I make starts with garlic and onions. So, you know, instead of doing it, you have it in a Tupperware, you know, sealed, so your refrigerator doesn't stink of onions, but it saves me a lot of time. Alright, so I got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but 10 cloves of garlic. We really love garlic. But you got to remember that also, this is, what happened to the garlic I just dropped? This is also, I gotta wash it, a lot of chopped meat. And garlic gives it a very good flavor to it, so. That's how good Jatina made it. And it's really important that you do get top of the round chopped meat, because that is the best cut. Top of the round. And I don't know if you have a butcher near you or a pork store. In New York and Brooklyn, we have pork stores. You go into the pork store and they have all these beautiful delicacies, rice balls and chopped meat and chipolata sausage on the rings and sausage and all the good things, the raviolis, managorts. Okay, so I chop my garlic. And put it into my meat. This is the same way I make meatloaf. The same ingredients, but I add onion and raisins and pinoles, if you like pinoles, but pinoles are expensive. They're the pine nuts. That's a pine nut. But America's Test Kitchen has this great recipe for meatloaf. I love America's Test Kitchen. I love, love, love them. My daughter-in-law made biscuits for Christmas Day, and it was America's Test Kitchen. It was so delicious, and they're so easy to make. I think they come on the PBS channel. Okay, now I'm just going to, am I in the thing? Okay, so that's what it looks like. And now I'm just going to mix it up. Mix the pork into the meat. Give it a good mixing. I'd say more salt, but something's telling me add more salt. Of course, my phone is ringing. Hello? Hi, how are you?